Welcome to Modern Mystic Messages. I'm Teresa. Thank you so much for joining me here today as we continue on in the book of Enoch. We left off last time at the end of chapter 75, and uh, Enoch was traveling with Uriel and getting a lot of information about about the orbits of the sun and the moon and the way they described the luminaries. It was very interesting. You could kind of see how the calendar days began to be measured out a bit. I found that very interesting as well. But we're going to continue on with 76 and see what we get into with Enoch and Uriel next, shall we? And at the ends of the earth I saw 12 portals open to the quarters of the heaven from which the winds go forth and blow over the earth. 3 of them are open on the face or the east of the heavens, and 3 in the west, and 3 on the right or the south of the heaven, and 3 on the left, which is the north. And the 3 first are those of the east, and 3 are of the north, and 3 after those on the left of the south, and 3 of the west. Through 4 of these come winds of blessing and prosperity, and from those 8 come hurtful winds when they are sent. They bring destruction on all the earth and on the water upon it, and on all who dwell thereon, and on everything which is in the water and on the land. And the first wind from those portals, called the east wind, comes forth through the first portal which is in the east, inclining towards the south. From it come forth desolation, drought, heat, and destruction. Ooh, okay. So the east wind, not so good. And through the second portal in the middle comes what is fitting, and from there come rain and fruitfulness and prosperity and dew. And through the third portal, which lies toward the north, come cold and drought. And after these come forth the south winds through the 3 portals. Through the first portal of them inclining to the east comes forth a hot wind, and through the middle portal next to it come forth fragrant smells and dew and rain and prosperity and health. Bear with me. And through the third portal lying to the west come forth dew and rain, locusts and desolation. So you got the good and the bad with that one. And after these, the north winds from the 7th portal in the east come dew and rain, locusts and desolation. And from the middle portal come in a direction, health and rain and dew and prosperity. And through the third portal in the west come cloud and hoarfrost. Wait a minute. Cloud and hoarfrost and snow and rain and dew and locusts. And after these 4 are the west winds. Through the first portal adjoining the north come forth dew and hoarfrost and cold and snow and frost. And from the middle portal come forth dew and rain and prosperity and blessing. And through the last portal, which adjoins the south, come forth drought and desolation and burning and destruction. And the 12 portals of the 4 quarters of the heaven are therewith completed, and all their laws and all their plagues and all their benefactions have I shown to thee, my son Methuselah. And the first quarter is called the east, because it is the first, and the second the south, because the Most High will descend there. Yea, there in quite a special sense will he who is blessed forever descend. And the west quarter is named the diminished, because there all the luminaries of the heaven wane and go down. And the 4th quarter, named the north, is divided into 3 parts. The first of them is for the dwelling of man. The second contains seas of water, and the abysses and the forests and rivers, and darkness and clouds. And the third part contains the garden of righteousness. And I saw 7 high mountains, higher than all the mountains which are on the earth, and thence comes forth hoarfrost, and days, seasons, and years pass away. And I saw 7 rivers on the earth, larger than all the rivers, One of them, coming from the west, pours its waters into the great sea. And these two come from the north to the sea and pour their waters into the Erythraean Sea in the east. And the remaining four come forth on the side of the north to their own sea, two of them to the Erythraean Sea, and two into the great sea, and discharge themselves there, and some say, into the desert. 7 great islands I saw in the sea and in the mainland, 2 in the mainland and 5 in the great sea. And the names of the sun are the following: the first, Orjares; the second, Tomas. And the moon has 4 names. The first name is Asonia, the second, Ebla, the third, Benase, and the fourth, Araya. These are the 2 great luminaries. Their circumference is like the circumference of the heaven, and the size of the circumference of both is alike. In the circumference of the sun there are 7 portions of light which are added to it more than to the moon, and in definite measures it is transferred until the 7th portion of the sun is exhausted. And they set and enter the portals of the west, and make their revolution by the north, and come forth through the eastern portals on the face of the heaven. And when the moon rises, 1/14 part appears in the heaven, the light becomes full in her. On the 14th day she accomplishes her light. And the 15 parts of light are transferred to her till the 15th day, when her light is accomplished according to the moon of the year, and she becomes 15 parts, and the moon grows by the addition of 14 parts. And in her waning, the moon decreases on the first day to 14 parts of her light, on the second to 13 parts of her light, on the third to 12, on the fourth to 11, on the fifth to 10, on the sixth to 9, on the 7th to 8, on the 8th to 7, on the ninth to 6, on the 10th to 5, on the 11th to 4, on the 12th to 3, on the 13th to 2, on the 14th to the half of a seventh, and all her remaining light disappears wholly on the 15th. And in certain months the moon has 29 days, and once 28. And Uriel showed me another law: when light is transferred to the moon, and on which side it is transferred to her by the sun. During all the period during which the moon is growing in her light, she is transferring it to herself. When opposite to the sun during 14 days, her light is accomplished in the heaven. And when she is illuminated throughout, her light is accomplished full in heaven. And on the first day she is called the new moon, and for on that day the light rises upon her. She becomes full moon exactly on the day when the sun sets in the west, and from the east she rises at night. And the moon shines the whole night through till the sun rises over against her, and the moon is seen over against the sun. And you can see the sun and moon in the sky at the same time during certain times of the month. And on the side whence the light of the moon comes forth, there again she wanes till all the light vanishes, and all the days of the month are at an end, and her circumference is empty, void of light. And the 3 months she makes of 30 days, and at the time she makes 3 months of 29 days each, in which she accomplishes her waning in the first period, and in the first portal for 177 days. And in the time of her going out, she appears for 3 months of 30 days each, and for 3 months she appears of 29 each. At night she appears like a man for 29 days each time, and by day she appears like the heaven, and there is nothing else in her save the light. There is nothing in her save her light. And now, my son, I have shown thee everything, and the law of all the stars of the heaven is completed. And he showed me all the laws of these for every day and for every season of bearing rule, and for every year and for its going forth, and for the order prescribed to it for every month and every week, and the waning of the moon which takes place in the 6th portal For in this sixth portal her light is accomplished, and after that there is the beginning of the waning. And the waning which takes place in the first portal is the season, till 177 days are accomplished, reckoned according to weeks, 25 weeks and 2 days. She falls behind the sun and the order of the stars exactly 5 days in the course of one period. And when this place which thou seest has been traversed. Such is the picture and sketch of every luminary which Uriel the archangel, who is their leader, showed unto me. And in those days the angel Uriel answered and said to me, Behold, I have shown thee everything, Enoch, and I have revealed everything to thee, that thou shouldst see that this sun and this moon and the leaders of the stars of the heaven and all those who turn to them, their task and times and departures. And in the days of the sinners the years shall be shortened, and their seed shall be tardy on the lands and the fields, and all things on the earth shall alter, and shall not appear in their time, and the rain shall be kept back, and the heavens shall withhold it. And in those times the fruits of the earth shall be backward, and shall not grow in their time, and the fruits of the trees shall be withheld in their time, and the moon shall alter her order, and not appear in her time. And in those days the sun shall be seen, and he shall journey in the evening on the extremity of the great chariot in the west, and shall shine more brightly than accords with the order of light. And many chiefs of the stars shall transgress with the order prescribed, and these shall alter their orbits and task, and not appear at the seasons prescribed to them. And the whole order of the stars shall be concealed from the sinners, and the thoughts of those on the earth shall err concerning them, and they shall be altered from all their ways. Yea, they shall err and take them to be gods. And they did. And evil shall be multiplied upon them, and punishment shall come upon them, so as to destroy all. Remember that thing, Abraham, they were worshiping Nanar, Sin, the moon god. And interestingly enough, like I said, according to Uriel and Enoch, the moon is feminine, but the moon god, Sin, I believe they had decided was masculine. Well, again, Yahweh started masculinizing everything and started taking over pretty much. And at that point, it wasn't just Yahweh. There were still other Anunnaki beings on earth being seen as deities. They had not gone strictly into the order of the human priest kings yet. I think the first priest kings were like hybrids, and then they started appointing humans. But at this point, when Yahweh came on the scene with where the Bible scriptures are, there were still Anunnaki beings being worshipped as deities, and the moon god was depicted as Sin. And evil shall be multiplied upon them, and punishment shall come upon them, so as to destroy all. And he said unto me, Observe, Enoch, these heavenly tablets, and read what is written thereon, and mark every individual fact. And I observed the heavenly tablets, and read everything which was written thereon, and understood everything, and read the book of all the deeds of mankind. Excuse me, all the deeds of mankind, and of all the children of flesh that shall be upon the earth to the remotest generations. One moment, please. And forthwith I bless the great Lord of the King of glory forever, in that he has made all the works of the world. And I extol the Lord because of his patience, and blessed him because of the children of men. And after that I said, Blessed is the man who dies in righteousness and goodness, concerning whom there is no book of unrighteousness written, and against whom no day of judgment shall be found. Now we're getting back to where I take some exception, because, and I can understand, again, I completely understand why the book of Enoch was taken out of the Bible canon, because if you do a little bit of digging, they're talking about the Lord of glory, the King of glory, and all those the things he made for the world. Yahweh, Enlil, Jehovah didn't make anything. He only came to rule and destroy. He didn't create any of this. All of that let us make. Man, in none of those ancient pantheons, none of them describe Yahweh as having participated in any of the fashioning of humans or the civilization of that part of the world, and the building, none of that. In fact, Enki made, after they fashioned the Eden, the initial laboratory where the Adamu project was underway and all of that, Enlil came and decided the house that Enki had made for himself, Enlil decided that was going to be his house. And Enki had to go into the Abzu and make another house and laboratory. And he didn't buck, he just went ahead and did it because Anu had given Enki, or given Enlil, the title of Lord of the Command. So y'all, from get-go when they came there, Enki was the scientist leading all of the expeditions, the gold search, the human fashioning, the agriculture, everything. He basically outlined all of that. And Enlil was just there as a military commander and a very harsh taskmaster. He did not participate in anything to do with humanity. So when it's sitting here saying all the works of the world, that the Lord, the King of glory, he said, I bless the great Lord, the King of glory forever, in that he has made all the works of the world. And I extol the Lord because of his patience and blessed him because of the children of men. That's clearly a reference not to Yahweh Jehovah at all. It can't be, because Yahweh Jehovah in the scriptures even came in with a heavy hand, kicking butt, taking names, and demanding worship. And anybody that didn't get lined up got disappeared unalive. So he couldn't be talking about him. I'm just saying. And then after that, I said, blessed is the man who dies in righteousness and goodness, concerning whom there is no book of unrighteousness written, and against whom no day of judgment shall be found. And remember, Yeshua said his judgments were light and his Father judges not. And those seven holy ones brought me and placed me on the earth before the day of my house, and said to me, declare everything to thy son Methuselah, and show to all thy children that no flesh is righteous in the sight of the Lord, for he is their creator. And I'm loving the fact that they mention the Methuselah, because the scriptures are not laid out in chronological order, and the book of Enoch was pulled all the way out of it. So mentioning back to Methuselah, Methuselah goes back to the pre-Diluvian era. He was around before the flood, so for sure he had a very healthy dose of Anunnaki blood. And I mean, we know that because even in the scriptures it says Methuselah lived 969 years. That part, go check it out. It's in the book, because they was keeping careful records back then, because they, like I said, had the Adamu project going on, and the Anunnaki were careful record keepers. It wasn't until the Babylonians and the well, the Sumerian, I'm assuming the Sumerian records were somewhat closer. They really started to take a deviation into what we would call creative license, for the purpose of extolling certain deities that wanted to be praised and whatever. They started basically lying, and it started being fictionalized, we'll just say, a bit, in order to give certain self-proclaimed deities more juice and more thunder than they actually did. Like that whole thing with Marduk saying that he, even though he claims Tiamat is his mother, he also turns around and takes credit for slaying Tiamat and creating Earth. And even his daddy Enki said even Enki didn't create Earth. It was a fully formed, fully functioning planet when they got here. They just came here to look for the gold that they knew, or they had been heard through their legends, had been basically impregnated as shrapnel into Earth from the explosion of Tiamat. According to them, gold was not indigenous to Ea, it came from Tiamat. And during the galactic wars, whatever the battle went down that unalived Tiamat the dragon, the actual female Tiamat, it also destroyed the planet in her name. And because they named a lot of the planets after different ones. When they were coming from Nibiru to Earth, the Pluto is called Little Gaga, but then they had one that's called Anu and one that's called something else. They, like I said, the planets that we refer to by different names now also bore the names of their leaders, their rulers, because when they came here, they built their lore, and what they named the planets and what they named the stars and constellations around them was based on their home life from when they settled on Nibiru. Nobody else has showed up to call it anything else, so why not? We call it something else because we live here, and like I said, this is after the fact, but they were here for hundreds of thousands of years before they came to Earth and decided to do something with it. That's the thing that I also don't understand, why people get so upset about the Anunnaki story and can't believe that. It was, for all intents and purposes, I mean, there was no sentient life here. There was life here, fish and fauna, and fauna and flora and that sort of thing. So there was some life here, but there was no sentient life here. So in all essence, it was considered an abandoned house. What they did wasn't nearly as egregious as even what our forefathers did in the settling of the United States or several other countries around the planet. Those had sentient life forms there, beings that was already there, and yet they kicked the door in and took it for themselves just because they wanted to. And yet people had a nerve to sit back and criticize the Anunnaki for coming here to an otherwise devoid of intelligent life planet to harvest some raw materials that legend had told them that was here that could help them save their home world. They were completely justified in coming here. Now that whole "let us make man in our image" thing, that's the part that gets sticky, and that's the part even Lord Enki acknowledged that was a little bit sketch. It was ethically off, and they might even incur judgment and the end times for that. He said that right in the Lost Book of Ink. He said God and man alike may be judged, because like I said, they said that Enlil said that they were to be called gods, and Inky was like, guess what? At the end of the day, you're going to find out who God really is. We did this thing because we had to, but I do understand that we might all be judged for it. That part. Anyway, let's get back to Enoch and leave Inky over there where he at for the moment. And those 7 holy ones brought me and placed me on the earth before the door of my house. Bear with me a second. Yeah. And those 7 holy ones brought me and placed me on the earth before the door of my house, and said to me, declare everything to thy son Methuselah, and show to all thy children that no flesh is righteous in the sight of the Lord, for he is their creator. 1 year we will leave thee with thy son, till thou givest thy last commands, that thou mayest teach thy children and record it for them, and testify to all thy children. And in the 2nd year they shall take thee from their midst. They, the messengers or angels, they brought him back. They took him up in the heavens for this vision, and showed him a lot of things and taught him those things. And he stayed a good long minute, because it's like I said, the astronomy lessons alone, I think they said they kept him there 19 days teaching him about the orbit of the sun or the moon or one of them, and all the rest of that. But when they brought him back, they said, you got 1 year to teach them what you need to teach them and get right with your family and all the rest of that, because at the end of that year we're coming back and we're taking you up. Let thy heart be strong, for the good shall announce righteousness to the good. The righteous with the righteous shall rejoice, and all shall offer congratulation to one another. But the sinners shall die with the sinners, and the apostate go down with the apostate. And those who practice righteousness shall die on account of the deeds of men, and be taken away on account of the doings of the godless. And in those days they ceased to speak to me, and I came to my people, blessing the Lord of the world. And now, my son Methuselah, all these things I am recounting to thee and writing down for thee, and I have revealed to thee everything and given thee books concerning all these. So preserve, my son Methuselah, the books from thy father's hand, and see that thou deliver them to the generations of the world. I have given wisdom to thee and to thy children, and thy children that shall be to thee, that they may give it to their children for generations, this wisdom, namely, that passeth their thought. And those who understand it shall not sleep, but shall listen with the ear, that they may learn this wisdom, and it shall please those that eat thereof better than good food. Blessed are all the righteous, blessed are all those who walk in the way of righteousness, and sin not as the sinners, in the reckoning of their days, in which the sun traverses the heaven, entering into the departing from the portals for 30 days, with the heads of thousands of their orders of the stars, together with the four which are intercalated, with which divide the four portions of the year, which lead them and enter with them 4 days. Bear with me. Owing to them, men shall be at fault, and not reckon them in the whole reckoning of the year. Yea, men shall be at fault, and not recognize them accurately. For they belong to the reckoning of the year, and are truly recorded thereon forever, one in the first portal, and one in the third, and one in the fourth, and one in the sixth. And the year is completed in 364 days. And in the account and the account thereof is accurate, and the recorded reckoning thereof exact. For the luminaries and months and festivals and years and days has Uriel shown and revealed to me, to whom the Lord of the whole creation of the world hath subjected the host of heaven. And he has power over night and day in the heaven, to cause the light to give light to men, sun, moon, and stars, and all the powers of the heaven which revolve in their circular chariots. And these are the orders of the stars, which set in their places and in their seasons and festivals and months. And these are the names of those who lead them, who watch that they enter at their times, in their order, in their seasons, in their months, in their periods of dominion, and in their positions. Their four leaders who divide the four parts of the year enter first, and after them the 12 leaders of the orders who divide the months. And for the 360 days there are heads over thousands who divide the days, and for the four intercalary days there are the leaders which sunder the four parts of the earth. And these heads over thousands are intercalated between the leader and leader, each behind a station, but their leaders make the division. And these are the names of the leaders who divide the four parts of the year, which are ordained: Milkael, Hel Elmelech, and Meliel, and Narel, and the name of those who lead them: Adnaral, and Ayasiasel, and Elomael. These three follow the leaders of the orders, and there is one that follows the three leaders of the orders, which follow those leaders of the stations that divide the four parts of the year. In the beginning of the year, Melchiel rises first and rules, who is named Tamini, and the sun, and all the days of his dominion whilst he bears rule are 91 days. And these are the signs of the days which are to be seen on earth in the days of his domain, or his dominion: sweat and heat and calms, and all the trees bear fruit, and leaves are produced on all the trees, and the harvest of wheat, and the rose flowers, and all the flowers which come forth in the field, but the tree of the winter season become withered. And these are the names of the leaders which are under them: Berkael, Zelebsael, and another who is added ahead of 1,000, called Heluyaseph, and the days of the dominion of this leader are at an end. The next leader after him is Helemelech, whom one names the shining sun, and all the days of his light are 91 days. And these are the signs of his days on earth: glowing heat and dryness, and the trees ripen their fruits and produce all their fruits ripe and ready, and the sheep pair and become pregnant, and all the fruits of the earth are gathered in, and everything that is in the field and the winepress, these things take place in the days of his dominion. These are the names and the orders of the leaders of those of the thousands: Geda, Keel, and Heel, and the names of the head of 1,000, which is added to them, Asphael, and the days of his dominion are at an end. And that is the end of chapter 82. So we will take up again on chapter 83 when we get back to it. I definitely hope that you're enjoying this series. If you are, please don't hesitate to give the video a thumbs up and share it with anyone else that you know might need this information or might enjoy it. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel as yet, please do so. It does help the channel grow. I look forward to seeing you on the next installment of the Book of Enoch. And until next time, soul family, peace and blessings to you. I love you so very much. Namaste.